Good morning, everybody. I'm Miana, and welcome to this morning's cup. Now, just getting the business out the way, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tell your friends to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way, whenever I do come to you with a video, it'll notify you, and you'll have all the goodness before everyone else, right? So, what's in my cup? I'm going to show you. I'm donning my Batman cup this morning. I am having vodka straight with ice because I had to work up the nerve to be able to come to you again about masturbation, right? So this vodka puts me in the mood to be able to talk about what I need to talk about. And I'm always listening to lo-fi hip-hop. What's in the air? It's a mix of that Dale mix I be talking to you about. It's that. So this is masturbation part 2, okay? I'm gonna pick up where I left off. When I posted the last video, I was really surprised by the amount of feedback that I got. And what I got mostly was, you didn't go far enough, or I could tell you wanted to do more, but you kind of like stopped. Well, as a matter of fact, I did want to do more. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. Normalizing masturbation for girls and women, okay? Have you ever noticed that even now, when we talk about puberty, right? For boys, it's this wonderful thing where they wake up, their penis is hard, and they know if they touch it enough, it's going to yield them this good feeling, and it's celebrated. And men congratulate their sons like, oh my God, son, you are becoming a man, right? But when they talk about puberty for girls, it's always some shit like, oh, you start your period, you're going to have cramps, and oh my God, you can get pregnant, so you got to be real careful now. It's never celebrated. And moreover, they never even talk about when girls first get that thump between their legs. Because the reality is, they consider it taboo. The world considers women's pleasure taboo, right? So, like, what do we tell our daughters? Has anyone ever talked about that before? Now, there are some parents. I was talking to my friend Star. Now, Star's mom, Linda, is something different than all of us, okay? And Star's mom, Linda, gave her the crash course of life. My mouth dropped when I was told how Linda gave her to talk. And I'm going to wait because I'm going to get with Star real soon so Star could tell you how Linda gave her the talk. But let's just say she was very open with her child, right? But she's the only person I know that got that kind of talk from their mom, right? I didn't get a talk like that from my mom. And honestly, I'm nervous about giving the talk to my daughter because I'm nervous about masturbation in general. But that's another subject for another time. What I really want to discuss, though, is like why we're not normalizing this for our daughters. Why are we not telling our daughters, hey, like, you don't have to put the pillow between your legs. Like, you don't have to bump up against the tub. Like, it's okay to explore your body if you start feeling tingling in your vagina. Why are we not telling that to our kids? Why is it so hard for me to have that conversation with my daughter, who's 14 and well aware of sex? I believe it's because when we were younger, that shit just wasn't something that was talked about. It just wasn't. We talked about jacking off for boys. We didn't talk about, rubbing your clit for girls. You understand what I'm saying? But the reality is, I'd rather my daughter rub on her own clit right now. I can't even believe I'm talking about this shit. I'd rather my daughter rub on her own clit right now and know how to please herself so she don't feel like she gotta have somebody else in her life to do it than for her to feel like, oh my God, it's taboo. I can't talk to my mom about this. I can't touch myself because it's wrong or whatever. Because I was brought up to believe it was wrong. You're not supposed to touch yourself. You're not supposed to, whatever. But part of becoming an adult is unlearning the things that you've learned your whole life that really you found out just don't work in the real world. You feel me? So now I want my kids and all, children, especially girls, to know what it takes to be happy so that when they get with someone, they'll know how to properly explain it to them. Because the reality is, these little boys don't know shit. These little girls are having whack ass experiences for their first time. Not only do it hurt, but he also don't know how to do shit. All he know is if he go in and out enough times, he's gonna bust a nut. And that's good enough for him, because no one ever teaches these little boys how that erection relates to pleasing the woman that they eventually are going to have sex with. And little girls, because we're not taught how to properly explore our bodies and know what's good for us, by the time we get with those little boys, we don't know if they're doing it right or not, and they think they're doing it great. So we're convinced that it's all good and we had a great sexual experience, although we didn't have no orgasm. We didn't bust no nut, but we can't even go and get ourselves off after it's over because we don't know what that takes or what that means. You got little girls, sitting in jacuzzis, sitting next to the jets to get off. You got little girls laying in the bathtub. Hey, it ain't too much wrong with that, though. I'm going to be honest with you. That's some good shit. Laying in the bathtub, letting the water run on their pussies or whatever. Taking the handheld shower, that kind of shit. But we not doing that until all hell is broke loose in our life and we about to kill somebody because we too horny. You understand what I'm saying? I want to normalize telling our children that it's okay, our daughters, that it's okay to explore their bodies. That's all I'm trying to do. And I had somebody tell me not only did they have the talk with their daughters, but they went out and bought their daughters toys when it was time. Listen, there is no better way to empower a young woman than to give her power over her own body and the power to define what pleases her. Because I'm be honest with you, I'm 37 years old, and everything that I've learned about sex, I've learned from having sex with other people, if that makes sense. I didn't learn it by actually spending the time to explore my body and, rub on my pussy, rub my clit, find out what it takes to really make me come. Now, I'm not talking about getting a toy, because please understand, my pocket rocket works very well, right? However, that doesn't teach me shit about my body. That's mechanics. That's life, right? If you put something that buzz up to your clit close enough, long enough, you're going to explode. That's great. But that's not teaching me about my body. And as a result, I've not been able to adequately communicate to my lovers, as it were, what it would take to adequately please me. I'm just letting them do what they do, right? And everything that they know is based on shit that they've done with someone else, not you, right? So it's like, I feel like I was set up for failure from the beginning because I didn't even take the steps that it takes to learn how to please me, It's good vodka right now, and I don't really like it. But it's good. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that we're not giving our daughters the raw end of the stick, because they've gotten the raw end of the stick for generations. It's grown ass women right now don't know what it feels like to bust a nut. Nobody's talking. Nobody's communicating. Nobody is saying what the problem is. You understand what I mean? Like, I know what my problems are. I'm very vocal about them. And now I'm working on them, right? But we have to be careful that we don't let our problems become our children's problems. I don't want my kids to have the same issues that I had. So I'm going to try to do what I can do to make sure that they don't. But the reality is, a lot of women are not having that conversation with their kids. And what would I do if my daughter came up to me at 14 and was like, Mom, I would like a vibrator? What would y'all do if y'all's 14-year-old daughter came to you and said, I want a vibrator? These are questions that we need to be asking ourselves now. Because the reality is, these kids now are not like they were when we were 14. They're not. When we were 14, we did not have Google. We did not have, porn accessible from our phones. All the porn site asks you is, are you 18 or older? And if you click yes, you got access to all the pussy, titties, dick, everything that you want. These kids have that at their fingertips, regardless of what we think. Okay? They can Google whatever they want. I didn't have internet till I was 19 and married, and it was AOL dial-up. But nowadays, these kids have everything. So it's really asinine for us to think that they shouldn't be making decisions about sex at their age. They're gonna fucking make decisions about sex at their age. They're gonna. We have to make sure that we're doing what we can to adjust to how life is right now. It's how our parents felt when we were growing up. And they're like, well, back in my day, damn, I'm on some back in my day shit. Because back in my day, I didn't have that shit when I was 14. But right now, my 14-year-old has access to everything. Actually, all the kids. They know about sex at 9. They having lesbian relationships, gay relationships, heterosexual relationships in middle school. These kids know who the fuck they are, or they know who the fuck they want to be. And just like God said at the end days, knowledge will increase. There's enough knowledge out there for these kids to make an informed decision for their age. And if you don't agree with me, you probably don't have kids. Or you might have boys. I'm just saying. But I'm doing everything I can to equip my daughter with what she needs to make sound decisions. My daughters, right? My daughter come to me and say she want to have sex. How you gonna tell them how to please you? What it take to make you come? Now that's an uncomfortable ass conversation. I would hate to have that conversation. But you know what? The minute my daughter says some shit like that, that's what I'm gonna ask her. Because that's important. If you have a bad first experience, you're not gonna want to do it anymore. Or it's gonna be a long time. Not that I want her to be super sexually active, but if they make that decision, she needs to be in the best position to win. I'm just saying, right? And by win, I mean, you got to make sure you get it too, because these little boys, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, and these little girls, 10 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, they don't know what it takes to please themselves. So how they gonna please you? Anyway, that's how I feel about that. I'm sure I got more shit to say about it. I just don't have it on my mind right now, and I don't want to keep going because that wouldn't be authentic. Make sure if you like this video that you share it with somebody that you care about. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel again. Make sure that if you have anything that you'd like to hear my unique point of view about, that you let me know. Just let me know and I'll talk about that shit. Alright? Y'all have an amazing day, and I'll get with you again soon. Take care.